Today I'll be talking about this case from IR Network Daily, which is one of my favorites, as you know by now, when it comes to summarizing the latest labor laws or labor case laws. Okay, so today's case is about employees that were dismissed after being found guilty by a criminal court of an offense. So they were dismissed. So this was particularly interesting for me, and I chose to share it based on the following reasons. So I've always thought that employees who are incarcerated can only be dismissed based on incapacity and not misconduct. So let me explain the difference. So incapacity means that the employee is willing but they can't. Okay, a classic example of that is when an employee has a terminal sickness. So they're willing to work, but because of the terminal sickness, being ill, being bedridden, being hospitalized, they are unable to work, they are unable to do their duties, so therefore they'll be dismissed for incapacity. So it's a no fault on their behalf. You know, they didn't ask to be sick, they didn't beg to be sick, so they're sick, they can't fulfill their duties, so they get terminated based on incapacity. Another example that I can think of is alcoholism. So let's say somebody is an alcoholic and they're attending rehab, and then they come back and the problem still persists, they're still alcoholic, they're not able to do their duties. So alcoholism, or being an alcoholic, is also seen as an illness, so then that employee would also be terminated based on incapacity. So it's sort of like a no fault on behalf of the employee. And then also incompatibility. So let's say the employee is incompatible with the workplace, and then that would also fall under incapacity. And then another one is poor performance, you know, but that one is a bit dicey, so it can fall on the either or, the poor performance. Okay, and then this one, I thought it was incapacity because, or rather let me say, I thought it can only be tackled from the perspective of incapacity, because I saw it as the employee is willing to work but they can't work because they have been convicted of a crime and therefore being incarcerated. Okay, so now how they have tackled it: this employer dismissed the employee based on misconduct, and then in them defending their case, they proved that it's also listed in their disciplinary code that if an employee is convicted of any of the scheduled offenses by the criminal court, then they would be subjected to a dismissal, which is what happened to these employees. So I found this interesting, and as a result, I have updated my disciplinary rules. If you want a copy of my disciplinary rules, give me a shout and then I will send them to you. Or maybe I must just provide a link of my disciplinary rules, and then you can access them and see all the possible offenses that I've listed there and the possible sanctions. But you're more than welcome to customize them according to your environment. So just a quick one, it would differ when I say that you can customize it to your environment. For example, a pilot sleeping on duty is more dangerous than maybe a packer at a supermarket sleeping on duty. So the sanction would differ for the same offenses in different environments.